Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the 20 podcast. And yes, this is a very, very quick turnaround as we've had some midweek games. I'm going to discuss every single one of them. Um, headline Leeds keep Barker in the job for now. Kiev saved slot. I think I've ever thought to say those words. And Manchester United's inconsistency continue as they go 1-1 at home to Ham. 1 point in 6 against West Ham and Everton is apparently progress. But we'll discuss everything with my right hand man, Mr. Karl, everything. How about you, my friend?
I'm not too bad, Doug. Not too bad. It's a good thing we're doing another recording at 20 within 3-4 days. So yeah, we're looking to discuss all the midweek games.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think there's one place to start, and that is Ellen Road. And never in your wildest dreams did you see this result coming. Leeds United 3, Chelsea 1. I thought Leeds were fantastic. I saw the sort of highlights actually before coming on, and I've got to say, very, very good performance. Even you had like a couple of goals ruled out for offside as well. But Tanaka, I want to speak about Tanaka. Is he a player that you kind of missed in that midfield this season?
It's a good question, actually. I think he's one of the key players that needs to be played. That needs to be in the starting 11 a lot more because, in a way, deep down about it, I just think. I think it was the game against Aston Villa when he had to come on for Anton Stark, and he performed. He was one of our best players, and then somehow Farke takes him off, which was baffling. I think Tanaka is very viable for us anyway, and to get that score that goal last night was vital as well because it gives him confidence. Because he did say at the start he says he's not been good enough for himself to to play up to the Premier League standards, and he was open and honest for what he said. And I think to see that the goal before half time was vital for him and for Leeds as well, especially in that 3-man midfield.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a huge win because I know you were obviously messaging me before the game actually, and saying that this and probably the Liverpool game might be Parker's sort of last games in charge, but that will not be the case now because of obviously the one against Chelsea, and obviously the playoffs on Saturday. But has that changed your mindset in a way about Daniel Parker, or are you still on the fence about Parker?
I'm pretty much still on the fence about Farke, but deep down, I think it gives him a bit of a lifeline for now. If it's taking so long to make the changes, especially playing either 3 or 5 at the back, and he needed to be a bit more be more flexible with his tactics, and that was his stubbornness, especially. From his previous experiences at Norwich, he was very inflexible with his formation. But these last 2 games have been very important, so it was vital to get that, to get the players that were available, especially playing 3 defenders in the back. It gives them more defensive stability, and which was needed, especially we were shipping in goals pretty much left, right, centre the last 4 games before last night.
Yeah, Chelsea inconsistent against sort of the smaller, so-called sort of smaller teams. I mean, they've lost to Sunderland, they've lost to you guys now. Is that a worry? I know they were missing one of the Caicedo, but even still, they just looked really non-existent last night. Obviously, Pedro Neto did get the goal, but you were surprised by Chelsea's performance last night.
I kind of was very surprised about Chelsea's performance last night, completely, actually. It was very lackluster, especially 1 week ago, you beat Barcelona 3-0 in the Champions League. You kept, when Esteban was one of the best players. And then you come to Elland Road. And I think it's the issue with the disciplinary issues, and that's what's costing them in most of the games. I went down, not having Castado last night was, I think it was a bigger missing link for Chelsea last night, and I think that's what caused
Yeah.
why it was they were very disjointed in most of in the midfield battle between ourselves. So I think, look, with Caicedo now banned for at least 3 games, Chelsea have got to deal with that, and I think Rivera is also injured as well. So I think Chelsea, going into the game against Bournemouth Saturday, they're going to need to pick themselves up, because 1 minute it can be title contenders, the next minute they can be very lackluster.
Yeah, but they nothing away from Leeds. It's a huge win, absolutely massive, massive win for Leeds. And yeah, they're going to be taking Liverpool on Saturday. Um, and yeah, that's going to be a very, very interesting game. That could potentially be Daniel Parker's worst game. However, for the time being, he has got a stage of execution after that 3-1 win over Chelsea.
Absolutely as well, yeah, absolutely as well. Let's move on to the next game, and it was new. Sunderland came to Anfield and took the lead after Christian Taboldi, Chasson Taboldi scored late in the second half, which was Liverpool was again, but Verts got the goal equaliser, but that turned out that was reversed due to Menewelke's own goal. So yeah, unfortunately, he did not get his first goal. But Doug is a bit of a worry. His slot's still under pressure despite that disappointing performance last night.
It's a worrying performance in the fact that we just looked devoid of ideas last night. Um, like, like we are still creating chances, but we're not taking them. Now that's not obviously down to the slot. It's obviously down to the players. But I thought Sunderland were so comfortable last night. Like the amount of times they played around field was actually really a glaring reason why we drew that game. Um, I've got to say, fair play to Sunderland. I thought they were very resolute. They defended really well. Um, and on another day, they'd probably take a 1-0 win. Them won at Anfield in 1983. They beat us 1-0 in the old second division. So it's been a wee while since they beat us. But if they had beaten us, I wouldn't have begrudged them with that at all. Because I think once we 1-0 down, we started playing. Now you cannot play badly for 67 minutes, go 1-0 behind, and then decide, oh, we're going to start playing. Look, I know we hit the crossbar. I know we hit the post in the first half. Isaac non-existent. Gakpo's really poor. Bernard Salah at times didn't really work. But I think the more the game went on, I think the more you would like Sunderland were definitely in the ascendancy. I think Alderete hit the post. Obviously, Stream hit the crossbar
Yeah,
as well. But that's another really bad performance. And look, I don't care if it is Sunderland. We should be winning that game. I said it on Michael's stream. I said it on my stream with Michael. I wouldn't be surprised if they got something out of the game. So they did. The Florian Wirtz was a very good strike. Unfortunately, taking the deflection of Keely. But I don't think I'd ever say these words. He is or saved on as well.
yeah,
Especially after most or going around Allison and who's there, Chiesa, and it's schoolboy defending, absolute schoolboy defending. Like you cannot allow a goalkeeper to basically find your attack, their attacker in his own half, and basically go past Allison, and then thankfully, obviously, Chiesa was there to clear, but No, that is really, really worrying. It is feeling like the time is potentially coming to an end. Arne Slot, I want to say this. I'm never one to call for the manager's head, but if we lose on Saturday, I don't see a way back
Wow.
because of what's happened. The form has been a joke. I think this is kind of stemmed really from the PSG game back in February, March time. Our form since then dipped completely. Um, kind of labored over the line to get the lead. And then obviously, I, I, I know you can sort of take the sort of the 3 or 4 defeats after we won the league. We were pretty much still drunk at that time. But it's a real concern. And for me as well, players in that team who should not be starting games. Ibrahim Kanafi, I'm sorry, but I know he's no going at Real Madrid anymore, but he's been shocking. He's been absolutely shocking this season. Alex McAllister not being the same for his last season. Obviously, Slaughter decided to listen to Jock Mo Salah, I think was right as well. There's players on that bench. Federico Chiesa, for me, he needs to be starting games. He needs to be starting games because just say Liverpool time and time again. And saved us again last night as well. But yeah, I fear the end is coming for Arne Slot. I didn't think I was doing that, but it is feeling like I don't know what happened. I don't know if the players have stopped playing for them, but if it's the system. But we have spent 450 million quid in the summer. You would expect a team to at least be doing much, much better than ninth in the Premier League. Simple as that. We have to be better. But as I said, we lose on Saturday. We're already 11 points behind Arsenal, 14 points. I just don't see a way back after that.
It is a huge worry, especially being behind and not no points. And you said it might be the end for Slot completely if it doesn't beat if they don't beat us on Saturday. Yeah, that is going to be a huge concern for Liverpool to do, especially in this what's been happening the last 6 months or so since to the light of last season, where you guys did win a title, but wasn't comfortable enough in a way where you haven't been playing up to your best performances at the moment. So that is a huge worry for the Reds going into the game on Saturday.
I hope so, absolutely. And I've got to say as well, I know we'll probably get people's take on it, but they were well worthy like last night Sunderland. And I keep saying it. I've waxed lyrical about the Sunderland side all season. Nothing changed my mind last night. They're going to stay up. And they're going to stay up by very comfortable. I don't see them. Me and Michael had this discussion the other day. Where do we think Sunderland will finish? I tell you something, if they get a top half finish in their first season back in the Premier League, that for me is fantastic, and for me that would almost give me the opportunity to vote for Reggie Lebris as manager of Stevie, because he has done a fantastic job.
Absolutely, yeah. He's done a fantastic job, Reginald Brees, in his first season in the Premier League with Sunderland, going back all the ways. At some point he's going to get another contract extension for what he's done at the Stadium of Light.
Absolutely.
All right, moving on to what a crazy game! One of the crazy games we had on Tuesday night. Fulham 4, Manchester City 5. And don't let's talk about Erling Haaland. He's become the quickest player to reach 100 Premier League goals, less than 13 games before Alan Shearer is done. But like I said, he's like a cheat code, and he's broken a record within 2-3 years since he joined Man City. Is he going to break the all-time scoring record?
The way he's going, I mean, 100 Premier League goals in 111 games is quite something. Fastest ever by a mile. He obviously gave up the 2 assists as well, but I've got to say, what a crazy game of football. I thought when it went to 5-1, I thought, right, okay, this is going to be 6, 7, 8-1, but what the quality of Fulham's goals that was scored was absolutely fantastic, especially the chip from Chukwueze. His goals were fantastic. I thought Roby's goals was really, really good, but you can't expect to win league titles if you concede like that. What City did the other night, because they completely capitulated. Now, I don't know if it's a mentality problem with City. I don't know if the players are just like, okay, feel free after 5-1 to sort of take the foot off the gas. Haaland could have easily had 2, could have had 3 on the night. I think he the post a couple of times. There was one in the second half where I think the Bardale tried to chip Leno and tried to find Holland, and instead it was Anderson that cleared it. But that could have been 5-5 because Fulham were fantastic for that last 15-20 minutes. They were really, really good, really playing on the pressure to Manchester City. But as I said, you don't win league titles if you concede 4 goals. I think that they've now conceded. I think it's 7 goals in the last 3 games. That's not Manchester City. Yes, they're still scoring for fun, but they're conceding a lot, and especially when you've got a goalkeeper in the size of Gianluigi Donnarumma, who you would probably expect to be doing a lot better. And I'm not saying Donnarumma was at fault for any of the goals, but what I am saying is that City defence was shocking. Matheus Nunes really was turned rings round on the Kevin. Chukwueze on the other side, Ray O'Reilly, he was the same as well. And then you look at Gvardiol and Diaz. I think Stones played at some point as well. I know Gonzalez had to come off with the injury. But I still say it again. City won't win the league if you concede that amount of goals. Look what Arsenal are doing. They've hardly conceded all season, but City just seems to be. It's away from home as well. If you notice the trend. Like, anytime City go away from home, they concede 2+.
Yeah.
Really, really strange. But crazy game of football, one of the games of the season by far. And I think Fulham very, very unlucky not to get something in the end. And City held on in the end. So I'll tell you something, they need to be a lot better. Well, I'll tell you what, Sunderland goes to that ad on Saturday, I think it is. That will not be an easy game for Manchester City. If Sunderland play right the against Liverpool, they can get something there for her.
Yeah, they could actually very much. Sunderland are no mugs, especially going against the bigger teams. Excuse me, this season, and especially with Man City, like you said, they are the top goal scorers in the Premier League, but they have conceded 16 compared to Arsenal have conceded 7, and that's what. And
Yeah.
if you can't defend, like you keep those leaky goals, that doesn't win you the title, and that's something that Man City needs to rectify at this particular moment in time, in the next couple of games, because this can't go forever with Donnarumma. And like I said, they need to stop taking the foot off the gas completely.
100%. I think a right back needs to be their main priority in either January or the summer.
Oh yeah,
because when Nico Lewis and Matthias Nunez are not right backs.
No, they're not.
I think that's the weakest position actually in the team. I think Nico Gonzalez deserves a lot of credit because I think he's actually came in and done really well. He's obviously, laid off the pressure with Rodri. I think they're managing Rodri better than I think they did last season.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very concerning if you're a City fan conceding 4. And then obviously conceding 2 against you guys last week as well. So I think City needs to do a lot better. So I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I feel like they need to be a lot better against Sunderland. Otherwise, Sunderland will definitely take something from there.
Yeah. They need to be a lot more better, Man City, in the next couple of games, especially up to the festive period. They need to be a lot more better indeed. Let's go to the fatality stage. Bournemouth had the 4th defeat again in the 5 games after losing 1-0 to Everton through Jack Grealish clinched with a head deflection. Not too long ago, the Cherries were in the top 4. Now they're in the bottom half. Has this been a rolling trend at the moment?
Yeah. No mistake of their own. They had a really good start to the season. They've kind of tailed off a little bit, but this was kind of what I was expecting Bournemouth to finish this season. In that bottom half, I don't know why, but when you lose that amount of players that you did in the summer, and they've potentially lost that back four. When you only had them Smith and the other right back, I can't think of his name right now. Hernandez, I think it is. You lose Zabarni, you lose Wilson, you lose Kirkes. That's always going to be done. They've done extremely well to be in that top 4. But players are definitely going off the bill. The menu, I think, is, as you said last week, I think he is being affected by the transfer speculation. I don't think Ghana actually made the Aston, so I don't know if the menu is actually going to be going. No. So I suppose in a way that's very, very good. But it's a good win for Everton actually. I think they kind of need that after the really horrible loss to Newcastle. And Jack Grealish again getting a goal, which is good to see. That'll do his hopes for the World Cup. No harm at all. So that's very, very good. And I want to say about Kieran Dewsbury-Hall, I think he has been one of Everton's shining lights this season. He's been really good. I think Ilman and Dye will get the plaudits tonight. So for Kieran Dewsbury-Hall, Jack Grealish, Ilman and Dye, they deserve a lot of credit. And actually, Jordan Pickford the phone for his mistake against Newcastle. I think he had a really good goal.
Yeah, I agree as well. Good, a really good win for Everton, especially Dewsbury Hall and Jack Grealish, and it's the after losing to Manchester United, winning against Manchester United before losing to Newcastle, they've got stability at the moment where they're not far behind at Liverpool and Manchester United along with Brighton. So yeah, it's a good decent start for Darren Moyes, especially for them in the new stadium as well. So and it's been vital for them as well for Everton to just get stability, which they're playing some good decent football as well.
Yeah. I think we said last week that they'll be absolutely fine. They'll be in any relegation trouble, and I can easily see them finishing top half as well because they are a good side. They're a very good manager.
Yeah,
I think they've got a good squad there as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think they will probably finish in the top half of the season as well. All right, let's move on to the next one, Doug.
Yeah, what a game this was. Newcastle 2, Spurs 2. We'll come on to controversial penalty decision in a minute, but Christian Romero's second goal, is that the most, how, how do we, how do we describe it?
It's
I
hard.
don't know, like, tamest overhead kick ever.
Good question, actually. Yeah, I probably would
See,
say a little bit, not much, even though he said he laid it for Messi, so from his teammate
mm,
Messi, but in a way, it you know, especially he's been captain Marvel for that club. They need that. That's what they bounce off him because of his aggressive plays, not just his aggressive play style, but at that moments of trying to get Spurs, keep Spurs a point like that was vital, and especially it eases the pressure on Thomas Frank at the moment because Thomas Frank has been on a bit of a poor run after, especially in the last 5 games, or one of the last 6 games, pretty much. So the draw
yeah,
was heavily needed at St James's Park. They needed that draw, especially they're going into well, the game this weekend. They're coming up. They are at home again. They're at home to Brentford, so that's against
ooh,
Thomas Frank's former club as well. So they needed that point before Saturday because that's going to be the most important game they need to win.
yeah, 100%. But yeah, just going back to that goal, it felt like it took an age to go in. Like,
Mm,
Ramsdale, for me, like, I know people are actually questioning the defence for this, but for me, it moved so slow to try and save that.
yeah, I agree as well. If so quite slow, it was quite a slow late reaction. Completely, it just surprised me. That was something that is easy to say. It's like it was in slow time. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, and he scored a diving header as well, so he had a pretty good game.
He did.
Dr. Bruno Guimaraes came on at half time to obviously get the first goal, and obviously Romero did equalise. But then comes the decision where this has really angered me. Never in a million years is this a penalty kick. But Paul Tierney just says to Thomas Bramall, "Oh, actually, go over to the monitor. What has he seen? Like, I'm
Yeah,
sorry, Benson Kerr might not even be looking at the ball, but I'm sorry. If you're giving a penalty for that, you're going to give 4 or 5 a game. I didn't think it was a penalty. Both of them have got their arms around each other. Um, I find it laughable that somebody actually said that Dan Burn was put in a headlock by Benson Kerr. I didn't see anything like that.
no.
Um, I just thought it was a really, really poor decision by Barr. I think Thomas Bramall should just kept to his decision on field and potentially give a goal kick. I didn't see anything wrong with that.
I didn't see anything wrong with that as well, to be frankly honest with you. And it surprised me because both, like you said, both of them were grabbing each other, and it's just like I said, if I could listen. I know it's a controversial decision, but it's like what the referee was saying. The referees are trying to clamp down on the grab on grab of players grabbing each other in the penalty area. I know that
Yeah,
they're trying to clamp down on that, but I do agree it wasn't really that as much as a squabble as it was a penalty it was claimed to be. So to quite in a way, I would have given it a goal kick because it's 50-50. Both of those players went down at the same time and they were
yeah,
grabbing by each shirt, and I didn't see no headlock as well. So yeah, a bit surprising that was a penalty, but I think Spurs deserved that point as well. But it was an end-to-end stuff between both of these teams, and usually Spurs don't do well at St James's Park, so to get the
yeah.
point is vital for them. That was a huge point.
Yeah, it was a good point. I think justice was done in the end when Romero got that that overhead kick. But I'm still questioning how it went in through a pile of bodies. But yeah, good time for Spurs because they have been in a bit of a bad run. And yeah, there's been a really exciting game on Saturday. Tottenham Brentford was Thomas Frank's my club, so yeah, it should be a very interesting one. That one.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So let's move on to Turf Moor and Crystal Palace one nil up against Burnley. Munoz scored his first half. It clinches Palace's win. Munoz is actually scoring goals away from home. He's not scored much at home, but his away goals has been vital for Palace. And also, do you worry about Burnley? You know, they had some good, decent chances, but again, it's another defeat for Scott Parker and the Clarets.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to what you said about Munoz. He's probably the best fullback, attacking sort of fullback in the Premier League right now. He's coming up with assists, he's coming up with goals. That was another really good header. To be fair, it was picked out really well by Jeremy Pino as well. But yeah, Burnley, I'm a bit worried for them now. I think they're kind of now starting to lose it a bit. I think they only lost 2 games last season. I think they only lost 10. And I think they
Yeah, they
took one
did. Yeah,
conceding there as well. Dubravka had a good game. I think he kept Burnley in the moment. But I know there's the point of Daniel Parker being under pressure. Is Scott Parker under pressure? Or do you think he's probably got a bit of credit in the bank for obviously getting Burnley up, and they probably would expect maybe struggling in this league. I think the one thing you can say about Burnley is that they'll probably look at their home games and think like we need to take points against the teams around us. Palace to a degree, I suppose you could probably think that many people are probably. To be fair, I predicted 1-0 Palace because I thought Palace was best in that. But it does feel like Burnley are sort of slowly slipping away ever so slightly.
yeah, yeah. I think they are slowed away simply. Quite not as rapid like Wolves, but it is inevitable. It is starting to get to that point now, and I just think I don't know where they will get their win and the next win. It's been
Mm.
concerning, especially they went Newcastle on Saturday and they're home to Fulham the following week, and then I think it's on the 20th they got Bournemouth, and then up to the festive period they got Everton on the 27th. So and then Newcastle in the reverse fixture on the 30th of December. So it's a huge worry for the class where they will get that win again at some point.
Yeah, that's a really hard run for Burnley. Yeah, Parker might be in with a little bit of pressure, but maybe Burnley just keep with them there. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what sort of results will happen. But yeah, that's not an easy game going to St David's Park on Saturday. So we'll see what we'll see what material is there. But yeah, I think many people are probably expecting Burnley to struggle. I think it's kind of now showing where they really are. Um, but Palace again, really good away win. And yeah, Munoz is definitely an FPL favourite. Certainly in my team. I'm sure he'll be in a lot of other teams as well, especially with his attacking play. It's so good right now. Munoz. I said a couple of months ago I think he's the best fullback in the league, and I stand by that. I still
Yeah.
think he's one of the best fullbacks in the Premier League.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I can back that one as well. I think he's become one of the best fullbacks in the Premier League at this current time, compared to the players that we always talk about have not hit up to the strides at the moment as well. So yeah, I think Imurus is one of the best fullbacks in the Premier League at this current time base at the moment. And can he keep that towards the end of the season? I hope he can do, because he's vital for that Crystal Palace side.
Yeah. And I'd stay at Palace, to be honest. I wouldn't want to move in January. I think keep have a full season at Palace, maybe move in the summer. We'll see what happens after that.
Yeah, absolutely as well. Let's move on to the Emirates at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal winning 2-0 against Brentford. Gunners restored their 5-point lead at the top. Goals from Miko Moreno and Biyako Saka as well. Uh, another good win, Doug, for the Gunners, but two injury concerns. Christian McQuinter and also Declan Rice went off with some injuries. Is that a bit concerned, especially again? It's coming up to a tough festive period. That losing key players is not the right lose key players at this vital time.
Yeah, they got a double touch and
Yeah,
yeah, that's not going to be the game by any stretch of the imagination. The injuries are starting to pile up for them. Um, obviously, Gabriel, Saliba, Rice, Mosquera, the bit of habit of to come back as well. Jorge sort of slowly coming back as well. Um, still a good, still a good win, to be honest, because Brentford came in a good game. Shada had a header that was saved on the tip of the crossbar by David Raya. If that goes in, it's a completely different game. But yeah, very good win. I'll tell you something, Mikel Merino is becoming a bit of a clutch player for Arsenal. So, something that Arteta has obviously seen, seems to do well in the big games.
mm,
And he's come out with clutch goals. Well, I was scoring against Chelsea, scoring against Brentford. Um, he's had a couple this season. Um, I think he scored away in Bilbao as well. Scored against Bayern. He's definitely the term clutch player at the moment. Is Moreno, and it's obviously starting to show it.
yeah.
I think Victor Gyökeres could be on the bench quite a wee bit actually, because Moreno he's certainly not doing his stay hopes any harm either with
No,
the great performances. So good enough for Arsenal. Brentford thought they were okay. I don't think they really threatened Arsenal. I think the only one really was Kevin Schneider, but apart from that, they're having a good season. And they're still good talking about a tricky game on Saturday at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium because Tottenham's home form is really poor. I know Brentford haven't won many games away from home, but I think they'll want to win that game against Thomas Francis. Um, yeah, that'll be a very very interesting one with the Brentford of Tottenham. But yeah, good one for Arsenal. Needed really after obviously the Man City 5-4 win over Fulham. Um, but injuries are starting to pile up a little bit, and that Aston Villa away game will not be easy at all.
no, it's not easy as well. And I think I'm seeing McEnroe is becoming Ilkay Gundogan, like what Man City did a few seasons
Yeah,
ago when he was a false nine, and that picked them to win the title after Liverpool slipped after the winning the first Premier League title 5 years ago. So this actually reminds me what Arteta's learned, and he's using Moreno as that clutch player going forward for the Gunners.
absolutely.
All right, on to the next one, Doug.
Another home winner of the game, Brighton 3, Aston Villa 4. Yeah, Brighton went into the 2 lead, got pegged back to 2-2. Villa went 3-2 up. Then it was 4-2. Then it was obviously, I think it's Van Hecke got the third for Brighton. But Aston Villa, they started the season really poorly, Karl. But that's now 6 wins in a row in all competitions. They are absolutely flying at the moment.
They are flying at the moment, Doug. It's not been surprising in a way because I think with Villa had a bit of a poor start to the season, and I think the squad was not balanced enough in a way, but they did rectify that in the transfer window. I know with Harvey Elliott, he's not been playing much games. I know that's been a bit of a disaster, but the players
Yeah,
that have been there, and they've kept most of the players, and Villa could have lost Emi Martinez in the summer, and then they didn't. Unfortunately, he was out. He was out injured, with a spasm in his back, and Benza came into the game. I know he did do well with the first goal conceded, but most of the game, I think he was a lot more consistent enough. And I have got to give credit to Ollie Watkins. I know he's had a bit of a
yeah,
bit of a difficult few weeks of not scoring goals until he scored a brace in yesterday's game, and he needs that confidence, especially the England squad is hot. Its stakes are hotting up now, especially with Thomas Tuchel. He needs to decide who's going to be the deputy to Harry Kane, and I think Watkins is back in that shout now, which is good enough as well because he's definitely been missing. He's been missing scoring goals for when Morgan Rogers has been probably one of their best players this season.
yeah. I still can't believe Brighton managed to throw a game away, but it just goes to show how really good Aston Villa has been recently. Um, I'll tell you something, they'll give Arsenal a game on Saturday. They'll give Arsenal a good game on Saturday. I I could potentially see them getting something from the Gunners. Maybe not winning, but they'll certainly give them a game. And Emery will always want to try it against his former club. So I feel like Aston Villa to do something. But yeah, if you're a Brighton fan, you're feeling sick at this result. But again, they're still in the top half. They're doing well. Um, but yeah, disappointing to sort of go 2-0 up and then peg back and obviously lose 4-3. That'll definitely hurt Fabian Hertel's men. But yeah, they're having the season Brighton. Pretty much what you would expect, I think.
Yeah, very much so. That's why I think Villa are gonna go. Are gonna go in to have a probably. This is probably a game of the weekend actually for playing against Arsenal and two informed teams as well. So yeah, it's gonna be a fight. So it's gonna
Mhm.
be electric at Villa Park this weekend on Saturday as well. And unfortunately, let's go a bit further up the road in Birmingham. Wolverhampton Wolves have equalled Sheffield the joint record in Premier League history equals Sheffield United's record with 2 points after 40 games after losing 1-0 to Nottingham Forest. Um, Doug, let's talk about VAR again. VAR took long with Daniel Doyes, who was standing in front impeding Sam Johnston when Igor Jesus thought he scored his first Premier League goal. And unfortunately, it took 3 minutes to have that decision to be overturned. That was clear, and that was clear and concise. We could see he was impeding Sam Johnston and I don't know why the VAR and referee took so long, why the referee needed to go to the monitor. That was a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, this encroaching for the goalkeeper seems to be on the rise at the moment. Obviously, had the Andy Robertson one that they had. Dan and Doyle did the same thing at Anfield, but that got awarded. And then yeah, again, but that's one. He's right in front of Sam Johnston's eye line. Like the ball's going past him, and he's basically standing right by it. So yeah, absolutely ridiculous how it took 3 minutes to come up with that decision. And Sean Dyche is absolutely right. You know, fans will get so sick and tired of that. What's been what's been happening. Look, Wolves. I'm sorry to say this, but no team has survived in the Premier League at this stage of the season with only 3 points. there's already a big gap happening between goals, and I think it's I think it's actually like an 11-point gap or something now
Yeah.
that I've seen. They are doomed there unless they have a miraculous January like West Brom had in that famous season where they managed to stay up after being born at Christmas. But Guthrie chooses to no give up and get that first Premier League goal eventually. But if you're Sean Dyche, I absolutely agree with what you say. Because people will just get sick and tired of VAR. It'll stop people winning football matches. And he's absolutely right. Where is the great idea to basically announce it in the stadium? Because I think that's even worse. I think that is just even. And look, whatever happens to the VAR over the next week or so, it's going to be very, very interesting to the very least. But Sean Dyche is absolutely right. But I Wolves doomed 2 points, as you say, at 3-4 Sheffield United's record. That is not good news at all. And I feel for Rob Edwards. He's gone into a job there that he thought he could do and do a very good job. But it's just proven to be too much to handle. I mean,
Yeah, it's too much to handle for our heads with this difficult situation at Molineux, and it's you know they're gonna break. I think they'll break that record, becoming the sole of after 15 games this weekend. I just again another tough run of fixtures for them coming up as well. Where they are at home to Manchester United on Monday night, and then after that they're away to Aston at 8 o'clock on Saturday Night Football. Then against Brentford at home, and then coming up to onto throughout after Boxing Day it's against Liverpool away, and then they go to Manchester United on the reverse fixture on the 30th of December. It's going to get tough for them. It's going to get a lot more worse for Wolves.
where's the next points coming from?
I don't know. I don't think they will. But this in the next 4 or 5 games, they ain't gonna get. They're still gonna get 0 points at all.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they're as good as doomed, in my opinion. I don't like to say that about teams at this stage in the season, but 2 points from 14 is not great.
No, it's not great at all. Let's get on to the final game there, which was finished not too long ago tonight. Manchester United won, West Ham won. Doug, another draw for United. The nice spot in the top five, and there was booze at the end. But a good draw for West Ham, which they needed, especially they had they still remain in the relegation zone, but they're only 2 points behind Leeds.
Yeah, it's a huge point for them. I don't think it's done anything wrong for them, but Manchester United. I've said this time and time again. They are so inconsistent. It is unreal. It is unreal how inconsistent that they are. 1 point at home against Everton and West Ham, and they think that's progress. I'm sorry. Look, um, Dalot getting the goal is quite funny because he said a lot of criticism, but the performance of Magassa in the midfield of West Ham was excellent and
Yeah.
deserved his goal. But yeah, if you're Manchester United, you'd be kicking yourself after this result. But going away to a really difficult Crystal Palace side and beating them by 2-1 to then come to this dross Old Trafford was really, really disappointing. I still think the jury's out on Amarim. I really do. And I think Manchester United fans are now sort of clicking that this ain't working. This system that he's doing, it just doesn't seem to be working at this moment in time. So he's going to have to tinker with it, or he's going to get himself. don't think he'll get himself fired, but he's certainly nearer the way of potentially fans turning against him very, very quickly. But really good point for West Ham. But Manchester United, it's another game where you feel like, oh yeah, they'll get 5, they'll get in the top 4, they'll get in the top 5, they'll get in the top 4, having an advantage. Is this going to be a change for this season? Because look, let's be honest, they've got New Europe. They've got only a game a week. Up to the FA Cup is this weekend, so obviously they'll come into the FA Cup without a FA Cup to Grimsby. There's no excuses for this Manchester United side. They need to at least be getting in that top 4, top 5, maybe top 6, maybe top 7. Look, if they get Europe and after a successful season, but there's no excuses. One game a week, and they're so inconsistent. It is really, really hard to see where is there progress. That's what I want to ask you, Karl. Do you think there has been progress at Manchester United? Because for me, I don't see it.
I still don't see the progress at the moment, despite after the local game. Yes, they won a couple games, but I still don't see any progression on the room I'm at the moment. I think there's still one or two flaws in his tactics, especially his substitutions. He brought on 3 defenders. That was baffling to see that happening tonight, but I don't. It's still not progression, despite. Yes, they could have. If they wanted it, they would have gone into the top 4. But it's still not. It's still not good enough at the moment for Amrin. He's still under pressure for the United fans. He's still got his doubters at the moment, despite that there was a mini resurgence.
Yeah, you've got to say that that's completely down to Amrin.
Yeah, it's down to Aaron completely. It really is. And it's down to him as it is. He's the one who's making the decisions, and he has to. And he needs sometimes he can't be stubborn, and sometimes that's what happens when you become stubborn. You don't change tactics like Farker did until the last 1.5 games. When you turn it around, you can get results like that when you don't need most possession.
Absolutely, but yeah, that has been match week 14. So we'll move on to the league table.
Yes, absolutely. So Arsenal go 5 points clear ahead of Man City. Aston Villa move up to 3rd, just behind Man City. Chelsea drop down to 4th. Crystal Palace go up to 5th, where they're now a point behind Chelsea. Brighton have dropped down to 3rd place, with Manchester United, Liverpool make up the top 10. Everton move up to the top 10 with Spurs getting a draw. And then at the bottom of the table, Leeds are now out of the relegation after their first win in 4 games. After 4 games, West Ham are now 2 points behind them. But with Burnley and Wolves losing, Burnley are only four points behind Leeds, and Wolves are now 12 points behind Leeds as well, from the 17th place as well. So yeah, those are all the tables for after match day 14. So, Doug, appreciate it. I know you've had issue with your broadband, but at least we've done some of the recording. Hopefully, everyone can hear it. So, apologies, it was the only way we could do it, but we got there in the end, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, tomorrow is big World Cup finals draw. I'm still pinching myself that Scotland are there.
True.
So yeah, I can't wait. But yeah, always a pleasure to do these with you, buddy. And yeah, obviously we've got to I've got to do a preview tomorrow.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Liverpool Leeds. Yeah, but always a pleasure to do these with you, and I appreciate everyone who obviously listens, likes, shares, and obviously listens to this pod. It's been it's been good to sort of start our family podcast now, and to sort of just sort of continue. I think probably going forward, but probably always from next season, I would think it'll probably replace the Totally Premier League podcast. I think it's going to go on audio as well.
I agree as well. I think that's probably the best sensible way. I think he's gonna. I think so as well too as well. So and pretty much that, like I said, and we will go. It will go from all during next season, which is better for us. And I think in a way, like we both do the show, and especially this is the first time we've done a back-to-back 20 podcasts within a week, and I'm not gonna lie to
Yeah,
you, especially because I was busy at my brunch week tonight. I was watching most of the last game in the pub, but I thought I left before the end of the game to make sure we got on and get this recording done. So, like I said, hopefully everyone can hear you and see you properly in the video. Like I said, it's when it comes to broadband issues, we might have the best broadband in the UK, but there's still laggy issues. But we did the best we can to get it. Hopefully, hear me and hear Doug's see each voice as well to make sure it's all clear and crisp. And hopefully, Doug's broadband outside, which the maintenance lot will get fixed. So, like I said, hopefully it will get fixed in the next week or so, and you'll see. Hopefully, we'll be back to continue doing our show next week as well. So, for me, I am because I'm doing a match preview with Doug tomorrow. I won't be on the Saturday show or the championship review this weekend because due to my work commitments. So, and also I've made a replies, but I am going to be back on with Doug next week with the 20 review some point next Tuesday after Monday Night Football as well. And I also be back on the following week. Be back on with the Saturday show the following week with Reese and Stefan. I'm back with the championship review with Michael, Annie, and also Stefan as well. So hit that likes and share, subscribe button on both of our channels. Please, that would be fair. I'm now around 135 subscribers, so we are now increasing lately as well. So please hit that subscribe button and hit for any content.
absolutely. But from myself and Karl, we'll see you very, very soon. And yeah, enjoy the weekend's action.